All right, guys. We'll be back. It's been a minute. But of course, the NBA continued in spite of me and my changes here and there. I've been trying to get a better format. The long format is probably not working for most of you, but yeah, tweaks here and there. I've tried a couple of programs here and there, but I'm trying to get better. It's a brand new year, guys. Welcome back. The NBA Fantasy Salary Cap Edition continues. I'm here to give you the highlights. Game week 16, game day 2 has just been concluded, and of course, as you can see right there, I did perform very, very well. Just a look at the points that were scored on that day. As you can see right there, I managed to get 183 points. Which is above the average of 160 points. And the players that contributed, Danny Avdi unfortunately wasn't able to feature, so I missed out on those ones. He has a back problem and is out for a while. Johnson had a triple-double, gave me 62 points in that one. Luka, unlike him, but was all right, 43 points. Rawlings 48, Maxi 30 points. On the bench, Minor did not play. All right, jumping right to the games. The first game was, of course, Denver Nuggets taking on Detroit Pistons. As you can see right there, it was a thriller. We have the highlights for you for this one as well.
Kicks it into the corner on its way.
Sorry about that. The highlights
rebound.
are actually
Lewis
right.
Thompson, now Cage. Now Tobias, ball knocked away.
So these are the highlights, as you can see right there. Nikola Jokic has been away now, so he's actually on minutes restriction at the moment, but he's back and he picked off right where he left off as they were taking on, but they have lost a couple of games, of course. He's not yet back to his usual self, but he's still clearly good. And of course, he's much needed help that the Denver Nuggets needed on his return. So, but in this game, Cade Cunningham managed to drop 28 points to lead the Detroit Pistons to a 124-121 win over the Denver Nuggets on the night. The All-Star Cade Cunningham had 29 points, 10 assists. And the Detroit Pistons, of course, managed to beat MVP Nikola Jokic's team. Jamal Murray led the Nuggets with 32 points and 8 assists, while Nikola Jokic had 24 points and 15 rebounds in this game. An awesome game. So I'm not going to take you through all the highlights because this will make the video even longer. So I am most definitely going to be skipping most of this. There was a thriller in this game, and of course there was a fight right there. More on that later. So let's just have a look at the way they performed. So as you can see right there, Cade Cunningham dropping 29 points right there in the game. For this game, he managed to get a double-double with 10 assists and of course 53 fantasy points. He's one of the players you can build around. Jamal Murray is having a very, very good season, and finally he was mentioned on the All-Star team. So finally Nikola Jokic gets to play with an All-Star before he gets to retire. That is Jamal Murray. He scored 32 points in this one and 8 assists to go along with that, 55 fantasy points in this game. Then of course a look at Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic managed to drop a triple-double as well, 24 points, 15 rebounds and 56 fantasy points. Then another good player that has come up out of nowhere is Peyton Watson. someone you can consider. 7.9 is his salary, and maybe you can add him to your squad. He's been consistent for a while, dropping over 30 fantasy points plus consistently in a couple of games in a row. That's 39 fantasy points in this game. All right, now a look at the hiccup that happened between Valanciunas and Isaiah Thomas during this game.
10-point Piston lead now. They have led by 12. Valanciunas and Stu get tangled up. And now Jalen Duren's going after Valanciunas. You just never know what's going to happen.
Hey, I'm going to give Isaiah Stewart some credit. He's not in that melee, folks. He's all the way down at the other end of the floor. He got on out of there. Perhaps a sign of growth. His teammates definitely stepping up for him, though.
And now, Jason Goebel and Josh Tiven will have to sort it out. Let's see what happened. At some point, Valanciunas probably should have let go with the ball.
I would think so, my goodness. I mean, he had him in a headlock and it was on the move.
His first move was to try to get to the ball, I think. But with that left hand,
looked like he was trying to deposit beef stew.
Look, of course, Valanciunas overreacted. I think he's in the wrong. And Isaiah clearly just let it go.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, he just let it go. So if anyone deserves the punishment, it's probably
as it was a
Valanciunas.
altercation that did not immediately dissolve.
You know, when you get a headlock on a guy and then try to sling him down with that headlock, it's both dangerous, it's excessive.
After review, the contact by Valanciunas is being upgraded to a flagrant foul penalty 1 with Stewart. In the aftermath of that play, Duren and Valanciunas are both receiving technical fouls which offset. Play is going to resume with Stewart shooting 2 free throws for the flagrant, and it'll be Detroit ball on the side with 24 on the shot clock.
I agree with that, but I don't see the technical though. No, there was no need for a technical for Isaiah. Isaiah was actually playing game.
Okay, yeah, he pushed him in the back. You know,
But anyway,
what the
in
officials
the
are
end,
hoping for is
it
that
was a good
the guys that are
decision.
coming in secondarily,
That was most definitely
coming in,
flagrant.
if
It was
at
a
all,
flagrant penalty 1
trying to get peace
on
and not
Valanciunas.
escalate.
So of course
So,
they maintain the possession, and of
Jalen
course we
Duren
get
gets
to
that
shoot
technical. He
the
has to be careful in a
two
game
free
that can be very
throws.
volatile and
So
physical.
that's how that
Pistons
one
don't
went.
wanna lose
That
this.
was the
Isaiah
hiccup
Stewart
in
is the
that
cleanest
area.
guy of it all.
All right, right after that, of course, we had the Indiana Pacers game. It was the second game of the night as they took on Utah Jazz. We have the highlights of this one. Collier was on fire in this one, delivering 22 dimes, which was his career high, 22 assists as Jazz beat Pacers 131 to 122 with 7 players only. Isaiah Collier had a career high of 22 assists, the most in the NBA this season, and the most by a Utah player since John Stockton. You remember, that's the man with the unbeatable assists record. I don't think anyone will ever break that record by John Stockton. That was way back in 1992 when they actually played basketball. And Jazz, of course, managed to beat Indiana in this one on Tuesday night with just 7 healthy players in this game. Larry Marketing dropped 27 points in this one. Let me roll the highlights as I take you through this.
10-point Piston lead
Just
now.
hold on. Here we go.
Really is going to require, Chris, I mean, some great communication.
So yeah, clearly Larry Marketing continues to be a revelation for them, dropping 27 points in this one as Utah Jazz managed to beat Pacers in this one. And of course, George Niang and of course a couple of other players, of course, were managed to help them that way.
He will be paired with Jaren Jackson Jr. coming over from Memphis earlier today.
So this is the first quarter. These were the highlights, as you can see right there. Utah and so we shall be rushing through these highlights because of course the time. I want to shorten my format of videos that I bring to you. So Larry Marketing, of course, dropped 27 points in that one. Ace Bailey, the rookie, dropped 19 points in that one. Larry Marketing had just 3 rebounds in this game and 2 assists. He's a big man, but he rarely returns on that end of the field. Ace Bailey managed to get 43 fantasy points in this game, dropping 19 points in the game itself. Then, of course, a look at Collier. I don't know how they read his name. Isaiah is the one I know, but the other one looks like Collier. Isaiah Collier, whatever. He managed to get 75 fantasy points in this game. 17 points dropped, and of course 22 assists to go along with that, of course. And of course, on the other side of the Pacers are struggling. They normally have their consistent people, but they were not around. The lead was, of course, Quinton Jackson, who had 40 fantasy points, dropping 24 points in this one. So that was it for the second game of the night. And as you can see there, Isaiah Collier with that record of 75 fantasy points right there, dropping 22 assists in the game on the night for Isaiah Collier. All right, so of course after that came the New York Knicks game, and of course in this one Mikal Bridges led the way for the New York Knicks, dropping 43 fantasy points and 23 in the game right there. Jalen Brunson had a quiet one but dropped 21 points and 4 assists, 36 fantasy points. Karl-Anthony Towns dropping 46 points. There are rumors that he could be moving, but anyway, I don't know. Let's wait and see. Before the transfer deadline, there will be some moves and shakes here. We're even hearing more on the others. I will mention them as they come along. 19 points and 15 rebounds. That's a double-double right there for Karl-Anthony Towns. On the other side, of course, we had AJ Jackson dropping 29 fantasy points in this one. Then Riley Willie is a cheap player, 4.9, someone to consider because he has had a couple of good games. 37, 39, and 25. 17 in this game is what he dropped for the Washington Wizards. And that's how that one ended right there. Then, of course, after that came the big game of LA Lakers taking on Brooklyn Nets. And the Lakers did a quick sweep for this game. LeBron James is actually one of the players that I wanted to mention that he could be moving. And this, of course, will make the Lakers far much better. They can focus on building their squad and becoming even better now that Austin Reeves is back. So the duo of Austin Reeves and Luka can now start playing real basketball and win some games before they get ruined by LeBron's antics and drama. But LeBron on the night managed to drop 25 points and 7 assists, 51 fantasy points for LeBron. Luka managed to drop 24 points. I have the highlights of that one. So as I take you through those, let me roll those highlights for you.
Clowney kicks it into the corner on its way, and that is Bioman.
All right, so that's how that one went, as you can see right there in the highlights. And of course, Luka managed to accumulate a total of 43 points, which is less. You could say he had a quiet game, 24 points in this one. He normally averages 30 plus. He's actually the leading scorer with most points per game this season. Then, of course, Austin Reeves also, who recently returned. This was his first game back. He had a quiet one, dropping 15 points in this game. And, of course, he did his best. And, of course, he was on restricted minutes, only managed to play 20 minutes in this one. 15 points is what he dropped, 27 fantasy points right there. All right, so they're having good fun as they play together. But I do think if LeBron leaves, they will become a better team and actually contend for the title once LeBron gets out of that squad. Then, of course, on the other side, Michael Porter Jr. continues to have a very good season. He's been away for a couple of games, but now that he's back, he managed to drop a double-double, 21 points and 10 rebounds in that game. And, of course, 40 points, fantasy points is what he dropped. He also had 3 assists to go along with that. Then Sharp managed to get 52 points in this one, 19 points in the game. And of course 14 rebounds right there. 52 fantasy points for Sharp in this game. Zaire Williams managed to get 17 points, dropping 28 fantasy points in this game. All right, so that's how that one went. There was not much drama. The Lakers made a quick finish of these ones. All right. So after that, of course, came the game between Atlanta Hawks and Miami. A quick run through this. Atlanta Hawks managed to beat Miami 127-115. And of course, Johnson had a triple-double. Jalen Johnson dropping 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. 62 fantasy points right there for him. CJ McCollum, the new acquisition, trying to do his thing as long as he can be consistent. 26 points in this game, 34 fantasy points right there. Then, of course, Nickeil Alexander Walker dropping 19 points as well, 41 fantasy points. Those are some of the good players to acquire. Then, of course, Jack Hayes, 21 points, 35 fantasy points in that one as well. Bam Adebayo, 35 fantasy points in this one, 16 and 14 rebounds in the game for Bam Adebayo right there. All right, so right after that came the Celtics, Dallas Mavericks, and Cooper Flagg had a very good game. But of course, it all came to a screeching halt when the Boston Celtics did not let them win that game. It ended 110-100 to the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown managing to score 53 fantasy points in this one, a double-double, 33 and 11 rebounds to go along with that. Then maybe a look at Cooper Flagg before we look at the other people. Cooper Flagg managed to get 63 fantasy points in this one, dropping 36 in this game, 9 rebounds and 6 assists. We have the highlights of this one. Let me roll those ones as I keep on taking you through the other.
In place of Nikola Vucevic.
All right, so those are the highlights rolling. Let me just take you through the rest of the contributions by the other players. But of course, we had Peyton Pritchard doing his thing. Peyton Pritchard dropping 44 fantasy points in this game, dropping 26 in this game, 4 rebounds and 7 assists for the Boston Celtics right there. Then, of course, Derek White as well managed to drop 11 points, 2 rebounds and 8 assists in this game. 29 fantasy points accumulated for him. Sam Hauser managing to get a couple of minutes under his belt this season. And, of course, he has taken advantage of that. He managed to get 11 points in this one, 7 rebounds to go along with that, and 22 fantasy points. Then on the other side, the main man, of course, was Cooper Flagg, leading the way right there, as you can see. Managed to drop 63 fantasy points in this game. He had an amazing game. But he has been having a couple of amazing games. Against Charlotte Hornets, he dropped a total of 49 points in that game. Can you imagine? Then followed the Houston Rockets game where he dropped 34 points. Then come the Celtics game where he dropped 36 points, actual points on the field, not fantasy points. Fantasy terms, he had 68 against Charlotte Hornets. Then Houston Rockets managed to drop 59 points in that game. Then, of course, the last night's game, he managed to drop 63 fantasy points. Speaking of last night's game, he also had 9 rebounds to go along with that and 6 assists. That was Cooper Flagg's contribution right there. Then, of course, Caleb Martin, the new acquisition right there from, I think, Miami. I'm forgetting exactly. But managed to drop 13 points right there. And, of course, 24 fantasy points. Then, of course, Daniel Gafford is back, and at least he gives them a boost and some cover with AD out right there. He had a double-double, 10 points, and, of course, 12 rebounds right there. We shall have a look at the last couple of minutes of this game because it was a thriller in spite of everything. 33 right there. So let us focus on the last 5 minutes of this game.
Peyton Pritchard, count it.
6 to shoot now off the screen. Bounce. Christie back to Flagg. He's going to have to fling. Bullseye.
That's a great release. I wouldn't tinker with it.
Instead, it's going to be a screen. A ball screen set by Garza. 8 to shoot. Spin, kick. A lot of space for Hauser, who knocks it down. Understanding of when to get his teammates involved in Joe Mazzulla's eyes and when to do this. Take over mode as a scorer.
And now make that 27 games of 30-plus points. And to me, this is what will make Boston an even better team if and when Tatum comes back.
Gaffer with another 31, 10, 3, and a steal for Brown so far. Give him 33. Most of the major rotation pieces for Boston currently on the floor. Hardy, breakdown on Walsh. On NBA teams as much anymore. Feels like Powell has been of the utmost importance as Pritchard adds 2 more to his tally. He's got 20. The Boston Celtics make it 3 straight
They actually
wins.
never did threaten that. They never managed to threaten their lead. So they ended up losing that one. And that's how that one ended. All right. Then after that, of course, came the Chicago Bulls taking on Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks back to their winning ways in this one, beating Chicago Bulls 115 to 130. Bruzelis on the other side of Chicago Bulls managed to drop 22 points, 41 fantasy points in that game. Kobe White dropping a double-double, 21 points and 10 rebounds, 37 fantasy points right there. Dosumo Ayo dropping 17 points, 43 fantasy points. Those are 2 steals, 8 assists and 4 rebounds to go along with that. On the other side, Kyle Kuzma had a heater of a game, dropping a double-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds and 56 fantasy points in that one. Ryan Rollins as well having a very good game, double-double, 21 points, 7 rebounds, and of course 10 assists, just 3 rebounds shy of a triple-double. 48 fantasy points right there. Then AJ Green, the sharpshooter, long range man, dropping 17 points right there. 31 fantasy points in that game right there. Then a look maybe at Miles Turner's contribution, 13 points, 30 fantasy points right there. Then, of course, after that came the Orlando Magic's taking on OKC, the defending champions, but they stood no chance. It was a blowout. Jalen Suggs only dropping 20 points in this game, 38 fantasy points. Paolo Banchero dropping 17 points in this one, 28 fantasy points. Isaiah Joe finally having a good game. This man leads in the steals of the season, average steals per game. He is leading, scoring 22 points in this one, 25 fantasy points to go along. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP contender of the season, dropping 20 points in this one, 49 fantasy points, 9 assists to go along with that right there. And of course, he helped OKC beat Orlando Magic's 92 to 128. All right, so after that, of course, came the second last game, which was Philly taking on Golden State Warriors. And boy, did the Warriors fumble this one. And of course, VJ Edgecombe having a very, very good game, a hit of a game, dropping 25 in this one, 52 fantasy points, 7 rebounds and 7 assists to go along with that. I have highlights of this one. Let me roll them as I take you through a couple of highlights of analytics that the rest of the squad managed to score.
The
Gillespie the trail three.
All right, so that's how that one crumbled, as you can see right there. Of course, they didn't have their main men. Both of them were away. Of course, they only had, I wouldn't say he's a main man, they only had Draymond Green, who is not the best of players. But Steph Curry was away, and of course, you know, I'm forgetting his name, the acquisition from Miami Heat, who got injured. I think he twisted his ACL, so his season is really over. And I would say even the Golden State Warriors season is actually over. I don't think they will contend for a title, but that's how that one ended. They lost it 113 to 94. VJ Edgecombe already spoken about. Then, of course, Trandon Watford doing his thing, dropping 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists in that game. And, of course, 36 fantasy points right there. Kelly Oubre in the 76ers again managed to drop 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 30 fantasy points in that one. Tyrese Maxey having a very, very quiet night, dropping just 30 fantasy points, 14 points in the game, 4 rebounds and 3 assists to go along with that. On the other side, it was, of course, Yuri Santos doing his thing, managed to only get 33 fantasy points, 13 scored in the game, 2 rebounds and 3 assists. They had a quiet game. Pate Spencer dropping 26 points in that fantasy points, dropping 13 points in the game, 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Moses Moody, 17 fantasy points, just dropping 12 in the game on the night. Quinton Post managed to get 23 points in this game, dropping a total of 10 points in the game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 23 fantasy points. Maybe a look at what Draymond Green contributed in this one, in the absence of Steph Curry. He only managed to drop 6 points in this game, had 7 rebounds and 3 assists, 19 fantasy points right there. So it was a terrible game for the Golden State Warriors, and of course they ended up losing this game. They could not manage to beat Philly. Quinton Grimes actually on the other side played, but he didn't play very well to his standards. He only got 10 points in this game, 24 fantasy points in this game. So that's how that one ended. Of course, Steph Curry, as you can see right there, was on the bench. I think he also has a problem. So they ended up losing this one. They really stood no chance. Just wanted to show you Steph Curry on the bench. It's going to come on in a while. Let's give it a few seconds right there. That was Curry right there, sneak peek of him on the bench. So they ended up losing that one. Yes, so after that game, of course, came the final game of the night, which is, of course, Philly taking on Portland Trail Blazers. Now, Portland lost this one. They did not have the services of Danny Avdia, unfortunately. And, of course, it cost them by just 5 points in this one. But Gillespie had a very, very good game. Collins, one of the players that I'm planning to bring in the moment the wildcard becomes available at the end of this game week, so you can look forward to that. And I think it's going to be the final wildcard of the season, so I'm thinking of bringing in Gillespie and of course VJ Edgecombe, as I see if I can get a good player in the front court to go along with Nikola Jokic for the rest of the season. 30 points is what he dropped, a double-double, 10 assists and 63. I have the highlights of this one. Let me roll them as we go through these.
Get good looks in school. Flagg been fired from downtown.
All right. So those were the highlights, as you can see right there. Gillespie leading the way, of course, for Phoenix Suns. And, of course, Williams Mark, their big man, dropping 24 points in this one and a double-double. 11 rebounds, 40 points in this game. Fantasy points is what he managed to drop for the Phoenix Suns right there. Then another player to look out for was Alan Grayson. Managed to drop 24 points in this game, 36 fantasy points to go along with that. Then Goodwin Jordan on the Phoenix Suns side had a double-double, dropping 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 47 fantasy points. Delion Brooks is the one I was waiting for. He had a quiet night, but he's having an amazing season, something he has not had his entire career. I think this is his best performance yet in his career, dropping a total of, just a second, a total of 20 fantasy points, just 11 in the game, and 4 rebounds and 1 assist. That is for Delion Brooks on the night. It was a quiet night, you could say. Then on the other side, Jeremy Grant led the way in the absence of Danny Avdia for the Blazers, Portland Trail Blazers, and of course managed to drop 23 points on the night, 33 fantasy points to go along with that. Shaden Sharp managed to get 22 points, 19 in the game, 1 rebound and 1 assist to go along with that. Then Drew Holiday, the veteran man, dropping 15 points, 38 fantasy points to go along with that. Maybe another player to look at is maybe Kamara. Had a quiet one, 13. It was a double-double, 13 points and 11 rebounds. 38 fantasy points right there. All right, so maybe I'm going to give you the last 5 minutes of this one, since it's the final game of the night.
O'Neal now, 5 on the clock. O'Neal straight to the rim. Great job. Kamara forced to give it up. Kamara's been quiet since the first. Step back, fires, cash! Rebound chased down by Sissoko. Grant from downtown.
Phoenix had a chance right there. Couldn't get back to the level of that basketball. Wants to get in there deep and kick it out.
Allen. Step back, fires, cash!
Wow, what a big shot by Grayson Allen.
He has 24 points, gives it up to Brooks. Inside, Williams with an exclamation point. And you can pass the collection. 1 of 2 for Goodwin.
All right, and that concluded the games on the night. As you can see, that was the final game of the night right there. And of course, Phoenix Suns managed to beat Portland Trail Blazers 130 to 125 Phoenix beat Portland Trail Blazers 130 to 125 on the night. Now, of course, a look at the players of the night. Our best players on the day in game day 2, game week 16, of course, were none other than, just pulling those up, Cooper Flagg, who had a very, very good game against Boston Celtics, but of course Boston Celtics would not let him win. And I do believe he's actually going to be the rookie of the year, hands down. No one comes close, but the one that comes close is Charlotte Hornets' sharpshooter. Forgetting his name, is skipping my mind, but yeah, that kid is very, very good, and I think he stands a chance of being one of the best if he's consistent. Curry's record may be on the line if that boy continues at the rate that he has started his season, having an amazing season. So Cooper Flagg on the night is the player of the night in the front court. He managed to drop 36 points in the game as they lost to Boston Celtics. 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, and a total of 63 fantasy points, which brings his total averages to 21 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game, and of course 4.2 assists per game in that one. Then of course in the backcourt was none other than Collier. having an amazing assists tally on the night. 22 dimes is what he dropped. Utah managed to also win the game against Indiana Pacers, beating them 131-122. He dropped 17 points on the night, 5 rebounds, 22 assists. Wow, which brought back the days of the legend assists man right there for the Utah Jazz. The days of the man that set the record that will never be broken. That is John Stockton back then in 1992. And of course, he had 3 steals to go along with that, and a total of 75 fantasy points. He has been having a terrible season, unlike the season he had prior to this one, which was way much better. But he had a quiet one. I think he's been hampered by injuries in and out of the squad. It has not been a very good season for him. He only has 9.6 points per game, 2 rebounds per game, 2.6 rebounds per game, and 7 assists per game. There is Isaiah Collier, the player of the night. All right, now a look at the plans for the night. We shall be going into game day 3. And of course, the lineup as it stands at the moment, as planning to make a couple of transfers. I brought in, of course, Nikola Jokic. I returned him back into my squad after a while away. Then, of course, I also brought in Russell Westbrook. But I'm anticipating to use my wild card the moment it becomes available in game week 17, which is the next game week, which will also be the final wild card of the season. So as it stands, I have my captain's chip also activated for this week. I put it on Nikola Jokic. It's on Nikola Jokic. Then of course I have Reynard for the Kings, who is going to be in my front court, those two. Then in the back court I will have Russell Westbrook, Rollins, and of course Spencer as Memphis takes on Kings. On the bench is Minor, and none other will be playing. I let go of Danny Avdia. So, no, sorry, not Danny Avdia. I let go of, anyway, since you did not know the squad, so I've been away for a while. So now that I'm back, this is the squad that will be playing on the night, as you can see right there. The games that will be on for game day 3 are, of course, the Denver Nuggets taking on New York Knicks. This is a back-to-back game. I'm hoping Nikola Jokic is fit and can deliver a good whole of games so that my chip does not go to waste, my captaincy chip. Then Minnesota Timberwolves will be taking on Toronto Raptors. Boston Celtics will be taking on Houston Rockets. Then New Orleans Pelicans will be in action against Milwaukee Bucks. The defending champions Oklahoma City Thunders will be taking on San Antonio Spurs. This is a game to look out for, since there are people are saying the kryptonite for OKC is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Hotspurs. And actually, as they are saying that Denver Nuggets have no solution to OKC, the word is OKC have no solution to San Antonio Spurs. Let us see how this one will go. It is most certainly going to be an amazing one. Memphis Grizzlies will be taking on Sacramento Kings, and of course Cleveland Cavaliers. There is talk that LeBron may end up back in Cleveland, but let's wait and see. We'll be taking on LA Clippers. Also, there's rumors that the Beard, James Harden, also wants to leave, and of course he may leave before the end of this season. So those are the games, and that is the update. So guys, have an amazing game day come next. Look out for those games, and of course remember to like, subscribe. Let me know of the new format, shorter videos. 30 minutes is my target. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Down in the comment sections, leave some of your advice and recommendations on how I can improve and become better. Thank you. Until next time, peace out.